I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, I think she's a hell of a player and, would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. You literally couldn't touch her. And that shit is so annoying to me. And if you're going to do that, then give it to our guards.
The WNBA is in scramble mode after Sophie Cunningham refused to hold back. She's shaking the league from top to bottom, and her explosive remarks have sparked a tidal wave of outrage, heated debates, and now a jaw-dropping fine that looks a whole lot like a warning to keep quiet. Was this a fearless stand for justice, or, in the league's eyes, a step too far? Fans are divided, players are whispering in locker rooms, and the tension is spreading like wildfire. One thing's for sure, this isn't just about basketball anymore. This is the high-voltage story behind the fine that has everyone talking. Will the WNBA finally admit it has a leadership problem, fix the officiating mess, and start protecting stars like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham? Drop your take in the comments. Let's go.
I just hate the inconsistency.
When whistles are player-focused, that's I think that's a huge problem.
Well, she's gonna be one of those players that she's already gonna be a GOAT. She's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Everyone knows that she's freaking hell of a player. But getting some of those whistles already, oh my, I couldn't.
This year, Sophie Cunningham has found herself at the heart of one of the most intense player versus league battles the WNBA has ever seen. For fines. That's not a slap on the wrist. That's a flashing neon sign that the league sees her as a problem. It all started when Sophie, fed up with a game poisoned by questionable officiating, posted a blunt TikTok calling the referees useless. That single 30-second clip cost her $500, leaving fans and players stunned by how fast and how harshly the league moved to punish her.
Cunningham posted the video 6 days ago, which shows her lip-syncing lyrics from Sabrina Carpenter's song Man-Child. The caption to the video is, "At some refs."
Stupid. Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless.
Yesterday, Cunningham reposted the video on X with a caption about the...
But Sophie didn't fold. She doubled down on her podcast, not only standing by her words, but widening the scope, laying bare the league-wide frustration players feel over incompetent and biased officiating. That bold move earned her another hit. This time for her fine total now sits at a staggering $2,000, a number that makes it clear the WNBA wants her quiet. Instead, it's done the exact opposite, sparking a firestorm that has the entire basketball world buzzing.
7-0 Indiana run. They're within 2 and a foul. This time, Peckers does get the call.
I thought this might have been an offensive foul. Outward for the finish.
Indiana's considering challenging this call, but they will not, as Peckers gets free.
The backlash was instant. Social media lit up with hashtags rallying behind Sophie, while fans called out the glaring hypocrisy in the league's approach. Within hours, GoFundMe campaigns had covered her fines in full. Petitions demanding referee accountability and transparency pulled in thousands of signatures almost overnight. The outrage was sharp, loud, and united. Why punish a player for saying what everyone can see? Why hammer the whistleblower while ignoring the broken officiating system? But this isn't just a fines and frustration story, it's a tipping point for the league. The standoff between players and referees, the questions about fairness, and the growing demand for transparency are all boiling over. As support for Sophie swells, the WNBA is staring down a challenge that could reshape its future. The fallout from her stand is still in its opening chapter. Now the question is, will this courage spark reform, or unleash a backlash the league can't control?
You could overturn it to an offensive foul. You could also maintain that it's a foul, but take away the continuation. All of those things could happen here on this call.
The interesting thing is, when you get to this point of the play, it is a foul on Boston. But it's because her arm was clamped earlier in the play.
I mean, look at that.
What can she do there?
She literally can do nothing. I don't know how that's not overturned to an offensive foul.
I agree with you.
That looks about as clear as it gets. And you saw how quickly Stephanie White challenged that.
The gap between how the WNBA and other major leagues handle criticism is impossible to miss. In the NBA, outspoken players like Draymond Green, or legends like Charles Barkley, have built entire brands on telling it like it is. Barkley made a career out of calling out flaws without a filter, and fans loved him for it. In the NBA, that candor isn't just tolerated, it's part of the culture. It's celebrated.
We have no illegal conduct by Euro, so the call will stand as confirmed. This will be also. Indiana will lose their challenge as well as their timeout. One shot for Euro. Thank you.
That's stunning to me. I mean, Aaliyah Boston, look at her. Lee puts her one hand down and then pins Boston down with her other arm.
I gotta say, Rebecca, I'm sure we'll get an explanation from Sue Blau at some point soon.
Sophie's WNBA experience tells a different story. After calling out refs for failing to protect players, Caitlin Clark included, she was warned by a league official, "They're going to fine you again." That's not feedback. That's a threat. The NBA might embrace debate, but the WNBA seems focused on silencing it. Ironically, trying to muzzle Sophie only amplified her voice. And with cheap shots on Clark going unpunished, fans are connecting the dots. The league appears quicker to find words than dangerous plays, raising real questions about its priorities.
Paige Beckers putting her hands on Sophie to shove her up. You see Sophie's hand in the air. Both hands are in the air right here. And Paige Beckers is shoving. She is shoving her clean off. Boom. Pushed her right into Howard. Pushed her into Howard. Now she's wide open and waiting for a pass like she just didn't do anything. Like she just didn't do anything. Wide open down here. Look at it. And then all of a sudden you get the whistle. And look at the ref. You see the ref? You see the ref right here. Calling the foul. And guess who the foul was on? Sophie Cunningham.
Sophie wasn't cryptic. She was blunt. And she was right. Refereeing is hard. Sure, mistakes happen. But when you miss obvious calls multiple times right in front of you, what are you even doing out there? That question hangs over more than one game. It hangs over the entire league. When NBA officiating looks like a masterclass compared to the one-bus chaos, the shortcomings get even harder to hide. Fans and players are left asking the same thing. How long can a league survive when its loudest voices for fairness get fines instead of fixes?
Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What call are you, like, bugged out?
All of them.
Everything?
Like, it's just like they're just so inconsistent. Like, that's my thing. Like, if you're on the other team and you're going to be fouling the shit out of me,
yeah,
cool. But let me do it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
like
consistency then.
Yeah, like just give. And I think that's players across the league and like new fans across the country. Like everyone's like, what is going on with the refs? And I'm like, I don't know. And you finding me $500 is not going to do shit. There's like a good handful that it's like, all right, dude. And there's a couple girls in there too.
Dumb question. Like, if someone were to, like, say someone called men's basketball their whole life and then went over to women's, would they be expected to call the game differently? Just given, like, the style and, like, physicality and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a physical game, you know? I think there's a double standard in how people get their calls. I think Kelsey Mitchell, number one, is held or chucked on every freaking possession and never gets a call off the ball. I think Aaliyah Boston is the worst officiated post player in the league. She never gets a call. And you know, there's a double standard there, certainly. But you know, again, if it's going to be physical and you're gonna allow us to be physical, then allow both teams to be physical. If you're going to call the holds and you're going to call the chucks, and you're going to then call it both ways. So I mean, I think that we've been pretty consistent in what we're asking for, and I didn't feel like it was consistent, especially for those two. I think you could call a foul every time down the floor for those two.
The thing that I have the biggest issue about the female sides of refs is like they're so emotional. Like the guys, no, the NBA officials, like the NBA players mother those officials like no.
Oh yeah.
Like I've worked broadcast, I've been to games, I'm friends with these people. They mother them.
Yeah.
And the only person that I've ever seen able to like mother a ref on the women's side is Diana Taurasi.
And they like take it.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah, they have
and
to.
like, but when she's probably one of the worst people that I've seen go after refs, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Now, like the refs, and I'm not saying they're emotional. Like the men and women, it doesn't matter the gender.
Yeah.
On our side, they are too emotionally invested and they can't take it. And I'm like,
is it new to the WNBA that you guys are like maybe talking more shit back to refs, or has that been a thing forever?
oh, it's always been a thing.